In this video, we'll be covering the EF data section inside of a client file. Now, this section is only applicable to people that have Drake or Crosslink, so if you do not have either of those tax prep softwares, you can go ahead and just skip this video. So the EF data section inside the client file will display the client's EF data that has come over from either Drake or Crosslink. To have this data import over, on your home page, there is a EF data import button. If you have Drake, it'll say Drake. You have a Crosslink, it'll say Crosslink. If you click on this, this will import over the EF data for all your clients that have been e-filed. Or inside of the client file, there is a individual import button right here, which will do the same thing, but just for this client file. Now, to set up your EF data import or to troubleshoot it, you'll want to go to Admin, Core Configuration, and then Sites. On the Sites page, you'll have an EFIN number and an EFIN password. And your EFIN password, if you are Drake, this will want your e-file password, and if you are Crosslink, this will want your transmitter code. So be sure that these match with what is inside your tax prep software. And then also, if you're confident that these match and you're still getting an error code, or if your EF data is not working, then be sure to contact Adam Support. So starting at the top, you have your Save button up here, and this primarily works with your Do Not E-File checkbox. What Do Not E-File does is when you check this, it'll open up a field where you can type in a note indicating why this client did not e-file. And so you can type that in, then click Save. That will then save your record of that. Your Drake EF data import here, this is just the individual import. We talked about this already, but this is where you can import the EF data just for this client. And then you have your links button right here where you can then be linked to the federal 1040 status, the 1040X status, or the state status. You can have links to those respective sites. So looking at our table here, there's this view column, and what this does is it will populate your e-file status section here. We have federal, state, and city. This view button will populate this section with that data. So right now we're reviewing the Form 1040, so that fills in our federal field here. If I were to flip this to the state of Michigan, it then fills in that information right here. Same thing with the city. Fills in our city one right here. For the rest of our table, again, the form will display what form that is for. The federal acknowledged date will show what date that the federal form was acknowledged. The federal acknowledgement code will display here. You have your state code. This really is just the state abbreviation. And then your state acknowledgement code will display there. And then your federal refund method and also the projected date will display. And then same thing with the state refund method, be direct deposit right there. Basically, the way that a lot of these fields work is that for the federal refund column here, your city and state will just always say that there's no refund due, whereas that information is actually in the state column, and then vice versa, the state column for federal will say that there's no refund due. So that's why those say that. Really, for this column, you're just looking at your federal, and this column, you're just looking at your state and city. City code is the abbreviation of that, and then the city acknowledgement code will also display right there. If you scroll down, you have your refund transfer information section. Now, our demo site doesn't have any information for this, but essentially, this table here, this just has the refund transfer check info, has check 1, 2, 3, 4, the status of it, the check number, if there's a prior number issued, that will display here, the check date, the date that it cleared, and also the check amount. So this table just has information pertaining to those checks. Underneath that, you have the bank name or the abbreviation of the bank that is issuing the check. You have the fee that your office charged for the tax preparation, and then the amount paid is the total of that fee plus also the bank fee, and then also the date that it was paid. The RL decline reason, This will contain a link here that displays the decline code and the reasoning why. This is just kind of like a standard code that we have there. If you want to adjust this code or any of your rejection codes, which we'll talk about down here, you can go to admin, category types, and then rejection codes and RL decline configuration. If you go to this is where you can customize that RL decline reason right there, and then you have your rejection codes you can edit or add here. Moving over to our federal section, this will have the federal loan or refund amount that will display here. The amount paid on the loan or refund, this will display the amount that the IRS has released and what the check was printed for, and then this is the date that that loan or refund was issued. And then a lot of that applies to the state section as well. Same thing with the state loan or refund amount, the amount paid on the loan or refund, and the date loan or refund was issued. And finally, we have our rejection information, and this is just our rejection codes 1, 2, and 3. If the EF data sent back over was for a rejection, that code will display here. And again, you can customize those codes by going to admin, category types, rejection codes right here, and this is where you can customize those codes at. So that is it for the EF data section. Definitely reach out to Adam Support if you have any questions.